Let's get going. And first up, we have KL Tan. KL Tan is the managing director of Sunway Group. KL, welcome today. Thanks so much.
Hi, hello everybody. The weather is fine in Kuala Lumpur.
Very, very pleased to hear that. We're just going to run through some key questions. If you could please update us on the situation in Malaysia, Malaysian hospitality. How's things been handled during COVID?
Wow, well, COVID is an interesting virus that cuts across everybody. There's no barrier in race, in colors, and it's just these tiny little fellas that really turn the whole world upside down. And when it hit us way back in January, in a very small way, we were sort of ignoring a lot of things, and business was as usual. And then when it hit us the second time, which is a little bit harder, and the government decided to lock down. So on the March of 18, the entire country come to not a complete lockdown. We call it the movement control, MCO. So when the MCO happens, obviously only some key essential what they call shops are open, the rest are all closed. Hotels was badly hit because we are not allowed to even take in any customers except those that will continue to stay in the hotel and until they check out. And they won't check out because there's no way they can go anyway. It's an effective border lockdown. They can't travel either. So in that respect, it was difficult because costs continue to run and you cannot take in any customers. But what we were saved a little bit was by the government of Malaysia, who then thrown in financial packages to support not just the hospitality industry in all respect. So there's a big numbers of staff who, wow, sitting down there doing nothing. So and obviously the way to go about is to really cut resources, close down the hotels, and at the same time do whatever necessary to maintain the hotel, to do those things that you're not able to do when the hotel was running live. So in that respect, it's bad because as of today, I think about 35% easily of the hotels are unable to operate. And we reckon that probably 15 of those will not be able to survive as well. And for us, we took the opportunity to do some renovations as well. Yes. But the government of Malaysia has given substantial support, both financially and also in all sorts of other efforts. Assets owners like us who obviously works on bank loans, the government has in fact asked the banks to support for not restructuring the loans, but to allow what they call space out in terms of repayments of loans. So in that respect, it does help quite a fair bit in terms of helping us on the financial burdens.
That's great to hear, KL. How about the domestic market? I mean, post-lockdown, domestic markets are allowed to travel. How much has this helped you at Sunway? And can the domestic market really help sustain the recovery of the hospitality industry?
No, but then again, don't forget, during the MCO, we were not allowed to take in any guests. So we were all suffering for usually 2 months until the recovery. They call it the RMCO, the recovery of the MCO. And that was the time they allowed them to allow some of the domestic guests to stay. But during that period, it's because Malaysian government allowed Malaysians who have been stuck overseas, students who has been in overseas are allowed to return, but then they have to then go through the quarantine period of 14 days. It was big numbers coming back, tens of thousands. So the government of Malaysia then has supported in a way in 2 prongs. One is to ensure that the COVID is under well control by having quarantine 14 days when they return. And the government then has in fact gazetted quite a number of Malaysian hotels as quarantine centers. And the government supports it by, in fact, the cost all picked up by the government. With 3 meals a day, 14 days lockdown, the entire hotel is taken over by the government as quarantine centers. Health officers is in there, police is in there to ensure that everybody behave, follow the SOPs. So that in a way has helped some of the hotels, but not all. Yeah.
What do you think about, I mean, with COVID, it's all given us some time to take a bit of a step back in the industry. I mean, do you feel at Sunway that this is a chance to reset, look at some of the issues in the industry and position Malaysia differently, do some things different? And what are your plans?
Absolutely, because we take a lot of things for granted in the past, right? When the market was hot, things was going well. The COVID really made us think through hard, put a lot of things that are not able to be done in the past that happens today. I give you one example, like in Sunway itself, we own theme parks, restaurants, hotels, shopping centers, medical centers, education, you name it, it's all down here. And the three key components, the theme park, the shopping center, the hotels, they are all adjacent to each other. And to get the three components to work together as one, to sell a product was difficult in the past because every division is doing very well. So you know what I mean? So, but when COVID hit us, we all suffer the same fate. And that's the time you sit back and they have to rethink, how do we go forward? The way to go forward, you're not going to compete just on prices. Everybody throw prices anyway, the hotels are all empty. You're going to compete on product that you can offer. So in our case, we package our components, the hospitality components together, and then we structured it in the way that we can sell and offer to the market. Domestic markets in particular. I mean, obviously at this stage, it's all domestic markets. And I give you examples that we launched a campaign, and over 2 weeks, we sold 18,000 rooms. No, that's the way we go.
Wow.
The domestic market is something that people have been locked down for almost 100 days. They're all tired of their homes. They want to get out. So they want to have food outside. They want to get themselves, enjoy a bit of fresh air. And so you just got to package it right.
Mm. That's great. That's great to hear. So integrating, whether it's integrating, I mean, you're fortunate enough to have so many different components, but the challenge of you has been to take a step back and to start putting those together into a really deeply integrated package. That sounds great. What about some of the other opportunities for the industry? You know, in terms of what sectors do you feel have particular appeal? I know Sunway is very strong with family. I mean, are there any other particular areas that you think should be focused on for the industry as a whole, for the Malaysian tourism industry, that have appeal, both domestically and internationally?
Again, domestically, I think the industry itself is very fragmented, right? You have got though it's all governed under the Malaysian tourism industry, our ministry, but then it's fragmented in the sense that you have got the tour guides who works independently. You have got the coach companies, the transportation companies that works independently. You have got the ports, the immigration, including the government. They're also fragmented. But this round really has waken everybody up. That look, unity is strength. You have to unite to make sure that you get things clear very quickly. At the same time, because of the lockdown, customers go online. I know online is something that's already been always happening in the past, you know, through OTA and so on. But this particular round has really waken up. You know, even people, the more elderly who are less IT savvy, has today gone totally different. Everything they buy online. You get me? So the same things is for this industry. I think we should capitalize on that euphoria and move forward. To move forward, between the organization, the industry itself has to take a step up to make that change as well. So I think this is really, you know, mind-boggling. You got to be way ahead of others in order to be able to compete and to capture the market the way you should.
Yeah, that's that.
And speed is the way to go.
Excellent. Really, that sounds absolutely fantastic. One final question for you, please. So how's your business outlook for the rest of the year? You know, the business plan's gone out of the window with COVID. How are you looking towards the end of the year?
Yeah, to begin with, cutting costs is one of the things. Multitasking is the other way. Making use of the Malaysian multi-racial society as a way to really reinvent the market. Early on, when we asked about domestic market, whether it's sustainable, the answer is it is not, because the whole Malaysia as a whole, we have something like 350,000 rooms, and we only have something, even at the peak, less 30 million tourists a year. So you work it out, it's just not able to fill a domestic market. So obviously, international market is still a key to us. In our component here, we in the past, our domestic market occupied something like 40-50%. The remaining is actually foreign markets. And the country as a whole, I'm not an expert in that field, but obviously it's basically 60-40. So without foreign tourists, it's a very, very tough market for this industry as a whole.
Well, we're going to get later. So I know a lot of companies have got their fingers crossed that we'll be able to create these perhaps in the ASEAN market. But KL Town, thank you so much